can hear.
Image! I am not, why?
Yeah, I see him eat all the time.
He eats like
What am I talking about?
All the time!
Dondero.
I'm a hot mess. Okay.
This is a test of our friendship.
Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Just let it slide in.
Oh my
Relax.
god.
Oh, what? What happened? What happened? What? No.
We have an
Is that an outdoor kitchen?
That is an outdoor kitchen.
Hello.
Hi, Chef. Why did they give me a camera and a microphone?
Too
Yeah, because they don't know your name is at Nurmamos.
Exposing the trauma. It's like a fan dance. Just like peeking one little trauma at a time.
Roogs. How much? I didn't want to keep my snake to myself. I wanted to share. And of course, if Roogs wins when the lights
Me
go
and
off.
Shep could right now on the stream, and it's still less awkward than that.
Go Roogs!
So in conclusion, that's
Am I the only one turned on by all this?
I'm Roogs. Welcome to my channel.
Can hear.
image. I am not, why?
Yeah, I see him eat all the
He
time.
eats like
What am I talking about?
All the time.
Dondero.
I'm a hot mess. Okay.
This is a test of our friendship.
Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Just let it slide in.
Oh my
Relax.
god.
Oh, what? What happened? What happened? What? No.
We have an
Is that an outdoor kitchen?
That is an outdoor kitchen.
Hello.
Hi, Chef. Why did they give me a camera and a microphone?
Too
Yeah, because they don't know your name is at Nurmamos.
Exposing the trauma. It's like a fan dance. Just like peeking one little trauma at a time.
Roogs. How much? I didn't want to keep my snake to myself. I wanted to share. And of course, if Roogs wins when the lights
Me
go
and
off.
Shep could right now on the stream, and it's still less awkward than that.
Go Roogs!
So in conclusion, that's
Am I the only one turned on by all this?
I'm Roogs. Welcome to my channel.
Can hear.
image. I am not, why?
Yeah, I see him eat all the
He
time.
eats like
What am I talking about?
All the time.
Dondero.
I'm a hot mess. Okay.
This is a test of our friendship.
Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Just let it slide in.
Oh my
Relax.
god.
Oh, what? What happened? What happened? What? No.
We have an
Is that an outdoor kitchen?
That is an outdoor kitchen.
Hello.
Hi, Chef. Why did they give me a camera and a microphone?
Too
Yeah, because they don't know your name is at Nurmamos.
Exposing the trauma. It's like a fan dance. Just like peeking one little trauma at a time.
Roogs. How much? I didn't want to keep my snake to myself. I wanted to share. And of course, if Roogs wins when the lights
Me
go
and
off.
Shep could right now on the stream, and it's still less awkward than that.
Go Roogs!
So in
on. You should have gone before
What?
we went live. You should have gone before we left.
But I didn't have to go then.
Oh my
I gotta go
God.
now. Don't make me turn this podcast around.
The Church of Trauma and Later Day Anxiety.
Yeah. Later day anxiety. Calvino, that's fantastic.
But
I'm-
again, my soul
Mhm.
needed that this morning. Like, Calvino, how did you know exactly what to say when I needed to hear it?
Yes.
Thank you.
So good.
Because I literally triggered myself trying to prep for this episode. So it was fine. It was fine. It was cool. It was cool. Hello
Mhm.
and welcome to Waking Up with Nana and Pep Pep, where apparently we're the Church of Trauma and Later Day Anxiety.
Later day anxiety, same day anxiety. Anxiety all 24/7.
I am a Roogs. I am one of your hosts. I am co-hosted with one of my best friends in the entire world, Pep Pep, also known as Sean.
Hi.
And in case you're new here and you don't understand why we're called Nana and Pep Pep, because we argued like an old married couple. We have been friends that long, and yes, we're just friends. No, we're not married. No, we're not like it. We're like, yeah, it's fine.
It just is.
It just is. We are just one of those old married couples that aren't
It
married.
is. It has been. It always
are-
will be.
I know we have. What? Stop it.
Peace be with you.
Just try right in the
Best.
facts.
Wait,
Facts.
riding in the back seat while we're driving and arguing over GPS. That's
GPS
that's the best right
and
there.
how he's making me car sick because he feathers the gas. Like an old man. Anyway,
Would you
let's-
rather? Okay. go ahead.
No, let's get on with
we
our
gotta keep.
disclaimer.
We gotta go.
We're going to go on this forever. Let's go through our disclaimer. Okay, here on Waking Up with Nana and Pep Pep, we are not here to change anyone's mind or discourage or put down anybody's religious beliefs or their faith. We think religion and faith are beautiful things when done in an emotionally, mentally healthy manner. That being said, we are not trained professionals by any stretch. We are trauma triscuits. We are two traumatized people talking about our shit on the internet, and that's what we do. That is the premise of this show. So if we're not trained professionals, we're not licensed therapists, coach, none of that. We're none of that. However, if you do need help, if you're in need of professional help, we do have resources to get you in touch with somebody that can help you. And we also have a charity called Fight Against the Sadness, where we donate all of the profits to the merchandise, as well as any donations that you make towards that charity. We make that donations toward Mental Health America. And it's a really great resource. They have some really great online assessment tools, and they also have they're just great. And there's usually one in most major areas. So Sean and I grew up in the Southern Baptist Church, also known as the SBC or the Southern Baptist Convention. It is a form of Protestantism. It is evangelical, and it was very conservative, and it fucked us up. So we often refer to it as cult-like behavior or the cult. If you don't agree with that, then that is totally your way and your opinion, and that is fine. You don't have to watch. You feel free to come again another day. So yeah, and no hate speech, none of that. We already got enough written in for today.
Yeah, this is. Go ahead.
So with that, what are we talking about this week, Pepe?
All right. So we have a jam-packed episode for you today. We have a full card. First of all, starting off top of the card, we got Cain and Abel. It's a classic brawn against brains. Then we've got David and Goliath. It's your underdog story. Then you've got Daniel and the Lion's Den in a cage match. Now, not to be undone, we have the ladies. We have Sarah and Hagar fighting for Abraham's love. And then the title fight tonight is the prodigal son and his brother. It's a grudge match for the ages. 2 will enter, but only 1 will leave. Why are you looking? You look confused? Why are you confused? This is the Versus show, right? This is the Versus episode. Versus. So this is who versus. It's Cain versus Abel, David versus Goliath.
You're right. That was good.
So versus it, yeah. Is that? Wait, did I not understand the assignment? Wait.
He was giggling to himself while he was writing this, folks. He was so proud of himself. I was like, oh my God, what are you writing? He's like, oh, I can't wait. It's gonna so good. Shut up.
I'm surprised you let me get through the entire thing. It's the
thinking-
versus episode.
I was like, I want to see where this is going because I have no idea, but I'm here for it. Okay, so explain what we're doing in the real Lazo. What are we doing?
Today we're talking about the verses that made us. The verses that thanks, Camino. The Bible verses that were drilled in us. The Bible verses that we recited over and over and were recited to us over and over again. These are verses that have stuck with us, that had such an impact that we are still triggered to this day, as evidenced by, you guys didn't see it before the show when we do our pregame part. Yeah, there was a lot of copy. It was copy paste. Oh my God. Oh, I'm gonna need a minute. There was a whole lot of that.
I had an instantaneous, and you might see it because I have it covered. It's like at near the end, so I can't see it right now. I had an instantaneous physical reaction, instant, and Sean was like, "What just happened?" I was
like, "Save it for the show."
Okay, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. So verses matter. Bible verses matter. The context matters. We're going to talk about the Bible verses that we were raised on and that just were ingrained deep in our head, and why they mess with us, and what's so damaging about the verse, or the way in which the verse was taught to us, because that's sometimes what really matters, is how was this verse used in our lives. That's a lot of times the triggering part.
Mm-hmm.
We adopted some of these verses. These became our mantras in some cases.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into them chapter and verse.
Okay, well, let's go to the. Speaking of wrestling, let's go to the first one. John 3:16.
16. Yes, that is.
See, I knew that
first
reference.
One,
I knew that reference.
Yeah.
So it's just like.
Of course, it's first.
Of course.
Gotta hold up the sign. Hold up the sign. Or if you're a WWE fan, it's Austin 3:16.
Austin 3:16. So I was like, if you're a wrestling fan, yeah, I got that. Yeah. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Oh my God. Like, that was just
so iconic. It's so iconic.
It's literally everything that is taught to us. That's like almost one of the first Bible verses they teach you as a kid. Like,
yes. Why? But why is that one of the first verses that you learn?
I feel like that there's actually like the trauma is there. So I'm like, I feel like, because I can't recall because I'm trying not to. There was like why it was the perfect Bible verse. I feel like they broke it down. I think it was that for God so loved the world, he loved us so much that he sacrificed Jesus. Jesus, died, that as long as we believe in him, we would go to heaven. He sacrificed, like, God loved us so much that Jesus died on the cross to give us eternal life, which is why, give us, salvation, which is why that was like the perfect verse, I think, because it encompassed everything that they wanted us to believe.
All we have to do is believe. It kind of simplified everything. If you just believe, right? That it's a gift. If you just believe, that's all you need. It's free, right? Here's the one thing that just occurred to me.
I believe
Um,
Tinkerbell. I believe. Oh wait,
I
that's not
believe-
it. Okay,
yes!
sorry, my bad.
If you just yes, if
I
everyone
feel-
just claps
I
their
would believe
hands,
that before I would believe this shit ever again. Like I would believe clap my
Right?
hand, clap my hand. We gotta make Tinkerbell
clap,
live
yeah,
again.
yeah, clap, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I feel like that's more tangible than this
Is that-
shit. But
wait,
okay,
is that how
anyway.
Is that how Easter happened? Is that how Easter happened? Everybody just clapped a lot. Okay.
Continue. Like focus. Take your power
So,
of your meds compel
why does
you.
it matter?
Like,
So God loved the world and He gave His only Son.
uh-huh.
All you gotta do is believe, and you can have life. Does that not feel a little stringy? I sacrificed all of this for you.
You're right. It does.
That just occurred to me. How many times? Oh, and how many times in your life growing up has a parent, usually a parent, said, "Well, I did all of this for you. Why can't you do this one little thing because I did all this for you? I sacrificed everything for you."
I'm not okay.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, that one just hit me. I wasn't prepared for that one either.
Oh shit.
Maybe that's why it's the first verse.
Oh god. Oh, okay.
It's a guilt trip. It's a guilt trip.
It is. No wonder. Like none of
Uh-huh.
that shit ever seemed like when you go back where you start to like when you start to heal like and you going, well, the strings attacks, I did this for you, so you're gonna do the conditional love. You wonder why conditional love doesn't feel conditional love under the guise of unconditional love
Mm-hmm.
doesn't
Yes.
feel it feels
unsettling.
natural. It feels natural. Like
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When you grow up like that, is that what you mean?
Yeah. So it's like when
Mhm.
it's like, oh, no, those are conditions. Strings.
Stringy love, conditional love, stringy love
It's natural.
felt natural, felt normal. And you not only did you accept it, it felt natural to accept it, it became natural to give it. It became very natural for you to say that to other people, to put conditions on your love to other people. It became stuck in the cycle. Yeah.
Hello,
Sorry.
unrealistic.
Yeah.
I'm not okay. I'm not okay.
Oh my
Okay. We gotta
God.
move on. because I can.
Yeah.
No, I can't. I can't right now. Sky Daddery.
Oh my God, Jay. Yes, Jay. I slaved over this hot stove for 6 days.
Oh my
This is how
god!
you
And
repay
all
me.
I'm over here these flashbacks of my mom. I did this
Uh-huh.
for you. I did that. Okay, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but all right, we're moving on. We're moving
All
on.
right. Moving past the first one. We gotta move past the first one.
We do.
All right. You want me to talk
No,
about the next one, or you
we're
want
not going to talk about that. We'll go down because that
we're
one's a
skipping.
little.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
By the way, we have a list. In case you guys are wondering, we have a list.
yes, once on here, twice.
Because of course we do.
Because yeah, all right. Let me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, your body is a temple. 1 Corinthians 6:19. Your
Yes.
body is a temple. You are not your own.
Your body is a temple. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my God, that one. I heard that one so many times.
You know what? My body's not a temple. My body is a wonderland.
I was I have to admit, I was thinking that. I was like, how long before we get some John Mayer in here? That's what I was thinking.
Body, 2 seconds.
Is a
My
wonderland.
body is not a
Yeah.
temple. It is a wonderland.
The Wonderland. I mean, that's legit.
And you know
Legit.
what? If you really insist my body is a temple, it's the satanic temple. Come in. We have orgies and cookies.
Or-
like
Or my body is a temple. Come in and worship.
we can sit here and make jokes like this all day. Oh my God. I think it's because the purity culture, like this scarred us so much, all we could do is laugh about it.
Yes.
Like
This one was hammered home for two reasons. One was the purity culture.
yes.
It was don't be chewing gum. Your body's a temple. Respect your temple. Your body is holy. I don't think they quite understood whenever they said that. Yes, my body is holy, and that's how I plan to use it. Yeah. Oh my god. So, your body's a temple.
Yeah.
Don't let it be defiled. They associated your body's a temple. You don't want it to be defiled.
Mhm.
But anyone that has a degradation kink, this might be where it started. Don't defile your temple. Yeah, it was a whole lot about sexual purity. The second part of it was body modification. That's where it hit me. The temple a lot, but as a guy, I didn't get those sexual purity messages quite as much
Mhm.
as you probably did. But I got the body body modification one. No piercings, no tattoos, no changes to your body because it's a temple, and so piercings and tattoos are defiling your temple. So that's how I was told not to get a tattoo or piercing.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I
No
still got a
extensions
tattoo
either, yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, this one was my body is a temple. It's all the makeup, the body modifications, the
Yep.
purity culture, the covering up. Like that one was your
Yes.
body is a temple. You want to make it
Uh-huh.
pure for God. And
Yeah.
no.
It was really used to push whatever agenda, and that's a lot of these verses fall in that category.
Mm-hmm.
Someone had a belief that you should act this way, and they use this verse and so many others to push that idea on you. I can't even be serious for a moment when Jay is in the room. Papa, oh my god.
For those of you who don't know, this is what Dana J said in the chat. My body is a pop-up carnival in a Walmart parking lot. Kind of sketchy, full of barely operating equipment. Makes weird noises that get ignored. Doesn't smell quite right. And everybody is suspicious from their safety, but they come inside anyway.
Jay. Oh my god, you're amazing, Jay. Yeah, that's a gold star. That's absolutely a gold star.
I can't. We can't be serious with that one anymore. We can't. We just gotta keep going.
We're trying.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we did Bodies the Temple.
I mean, we tried. We did it.
We did
yeah.
try. We did try. Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay. Let's do 1 Corinthians 13:11.
Okay.
All right. When I was a child, I didn't do that. Like I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put childish things behind me.
Wait, you became a man?
Yeah.
Okay.
Secret. Okay.
Okay. All right. Why does this?
Jay has his sassy pants on today, so this is gonna be a fun one. Yay!
Yes, I'm gonna see you do, Jay. We're fond of your sassy pants, though.
I love your sassy pants.
You wear them well.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, so oh my god, this one, like
I've heard you say this one several times.
yeah, like
Yeah.
this was one when it was like you weren't allowed to be. It was like they had this expectation of you as an adult, like
Mhm.
you there was like almost like this line, like this dividing line, like I don't know, maybe sometime in your youth, I don't even know when the line happened, but it's like they all of a sudden started hammering away, you need to grow up. How many
Yeah.
times, Sean, did you feel like when you were about 15 or 16 that you were expected to be an
Mhm.
adult?
Yes. Absolutely.
And
They started kind of treating you that way, pushing you that direction. I have an idea of why, but
I couldn't be silly. I couldn't be
Yes.
I
Yeah.
couldn't be silly. I couldn't be goofy. I couldn't enjoy all these things. Like I couldn't be these things because that was being childish. I couldn't I couldn't
Mhm.
cry about the minor things. I make sure I am
You
just
had to be serious.
I had to handle everything like an adult. I was
Yes, like
15
an
or
adult.
16. I wasn't an adult, but I was expected to
Mhm.
hold a job. I was expected to like I
Yeah.
got treated like an adult. And I was like,
They
yeah.
associate what's sad is they associated being silly and having fun and just they associated that with being a child. Like to be an adult, you had to be a fuddy-duddy. All the fun was sucked out of the room when you became
Both
an
of us at
adult.
the same time, Jay, because I'm here for it.
Uh, hold on your butts. Yes. Here's my thoughts on why around 15, 16 they began pushing you away from being a child and more to being an adult and again an adult as they perceive it.
Yeah.
Because they want you
Keep going. Hold on.
this kind of goes into the whole cult mindset that existed and still I think does exist somewhat in SBC is the idea that they get you when you're young. You raised in the church before you've had the opportunity to begin branching out and experiencing other things as an adult. They want to try to lock you in to their world, to the SBC world, which means they want you to start acting like an adult so that they can marry you off in the church. So then you can start having kids at an early age, potentially locking you into the church. And it's that cycle. So even if you were to start realizing that the stuff that they're teaching you is toxic, is not by that point you're married and you've got kids and it's a lot harder for you to pull out of the church at that point. I heard it. It requires a lot more effort to make sure your pull out game is strong.
This is where we're at
Once you-
today. You know, I thought this was going to be one when I first, because I triggered myself. I thought, oh, this
Mhm.
is going to be one of those ones where I'm going to end up crying. Nope. The Lord had other plans. The Lord had other
willeth.
plans.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Let's do Matthew 7:1 before we get into the ones that will actually trigger me. Okay. Let's just
Jesus boot camp. God's army. Oh my god. Y'all are fantastic.
all right, Matthew 7:1.
Okay.
You put this one in here so you can do that one.
All right, this one, judge not lest ye be judged. This one is used this is used both ways. So, judge not lest ye be judged. This is a great example. People use this as you are not allowed to criticize my behavior. You
Mhm.
can't judge me. You can't judge me. I'm going to do whatever I want to do and you can't judge me. It's also used the other way. It's completely taken out of context. This whole "judge not lest ye be judged,"
Mhm.
using it to excuse your behavior, and I hear it spouted all the time. That's the only part that's the only part that out of those verses that is used. And people think it's like a get out of jail free card. It's not. I'm afraid to look.
You just need to keep up the chat.
Um,
You just need to keep the chat up. Just keep it
I
up.
do. Oh my god, yes.
I think that
That
this,
is not
this
your-
one was used to not take accountability. Like, yeah, like it, and so much that, but it doesn't judge not yet lest you be judged. So
Mhm.
also, it does on the other end. It's one of those. It teaches you not to minimize everything that you feel. It teaches you to internalize your pain, your suffering, your problems with it.
Mhm.
It doesn't, it teaches you to not say the thing. Because okay, well, I'm super screwed up, or I'm, you know,
Yep.
I've done some terrible things. So why am I over here feeling bad about what they did to me?
Yeah. Mhm.
Like,
or I see something. Yeah, it's a way to prevent you from setting your own boundaries.
Yeah.
You can't tell them that you're not okay with what they've done to you because, well, I've got all these things in my life, and they're like, you can't judge me.
right. You're not
Yeah,
perfect. It's and oh my God. That's
yeah,
like,
you're not yes, that
oh
you're not
my
perfect.
God. Like it's one of the so emotionally and mentally abusive. And it like
Hmm.
it don't judge not unless you be judged. Like,
Yeah. Well, we've talked several times about how growing up in the church, you don't learn boundaries
right.
because everything about um, growing up in the SBC is about not having boundaries. That's
Mhm.
how they make things happen. That's how they get things done is by breaking everyone's boundaries and not teaching you how to create and the importance of having healthy boundaries.
Right.
So yeah, that's another one of them.
Okay.
Let's get to some of the. Yeah, we gotta do it. Let's do it.
Okay,
Just
okay.
you know, just rip,
I'm
just
scrolling. I'm
rip the
scrolling down.
band-aids
I'm
off.
scrolling down. Okay. All right. All right. Now,
Yeah.
I am going I am going to preface this to our community. Okay. So, um I some of these verses I when going through an emotionally or mentally difficult episode growing up, and now that I now I have a reason why I am, now that I understand why I was going through those episodes. But back then I didn't even go to therapy because my parents didn't believe in it. It was just pray about it. It's that whole nice little, you're going through this intense emotional and mental distress, but it doesn't matter because just pray about it. You're just not faithful enough. So now that I know why, so because of that, I would often use some of these verses to center myself and try to bring myself to center, which is using affirmations and mantras, and are a good way. That is a therapy skill that they teach you. But yeah, I use the verses for that. And so this nice little memories attached to that. That's great. It's great. It's great. So anyway, with that. Okay. In serious note, it's weaponized good advice. Yes.
Mhm. A lot of these are.
Okay. So first one. Jeremiah 29:11. Now I used the first verse, but I would go through, like, this one was Jeremiah 11-14. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all of your heart. And we don't have to, 14 was it? But
Yeah.
when going through an emotional episode or a mental and emotional episode, as I did, as is very common with anyway, so I'm over here and my parents didn't want to get me help. They didn't want, I just had to pray. So when I am in that state, in that mindset of catastrophizing, and I'm over here and I've spun out of control, and I have I feel alone, and I feel I hopeless, and I'm feeling these things, and I'm feeling these things very intensely, and I'm thinking all these negative thoughts, and they start cycloning. So then this was like the verse, like these are the verses,
Hmm.
and it varied on which one I would say, but I know the plans I have for you. So, okay, if I was having an episode where I was like anxious about something that was going to happen, where I was predicting the future, when I was throwing that and I was I was like, okay, God's got this. He has like all the things. I know the plans I have for you. He's not going to harm me. This is going to be fine. In its essence, it's that's not a bad thing. Like, what it's saying is like, he's not going to hurt me, right? He's not going to hurt me. It's going to be fine. It's going to be, basically that's what it's saying, right? And then it was
Mhm.
like, then you will call on me and come to pray with me, and I will listen to you. So it's then again, just pray about it. 'Cause if nobody else is going to hear what I have to say, if nobody wants to listen to me, then all I
Mhm.
have to do is pray about it. So look, I'm over here having this thing where I feel alone and I feel like a burden and I feel, um, I'm feeling all of these things and I'm having all these negative thoughts where I feel isolated. Then, okay, this verse, I'm like, okay, like all I have to do is pray about it. All I have to do, and he will listen, and he's going to listen, and God's going to listen. And then the last one, you will seek me and you will find me when you seek me with all of your heart. So all I have to do is I just have to believe. I just have to pray. And all of
Yep.
this feeling, all of this thing, he will take it away. Which is what
Mhm.
reinforced which now that I'm coming to learn, reinforced seeking external validation for my internal problem.
Mhm.
Whereas in now I am this reinforced along with a lot of things, this idea, this concept that all I had to do was pray for, God's got, and it reinforced a lot of things for me. It reinforced the, I don't have to worry about it. God's got it planned out for me. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to plan anything. God, and all I have to do is pray. So I don't have to do anything except have faith, and that God's going to provide that emotional and mental stability for me in my life and my validation. And
Yes.
it got reinforced, obviously, in other places in my home. But this was the big one that it reinforced myself. And this is one that got preached all the time. And this is one that I had highlighted in my Bible. And this is the one that I literally would write over and over and over again. Seek him with all my heart. I just have to seek him with all my heart. He will make it all better. God will make it all better. So now I am having to understand that I'm over here and I just naturally try to seek outside validation
Mhm.
for an internal problem.
Yeah.
And this is one that I literally wrote, memorized, recited all the time because it covered everything that I was needing. I needed somebody to care, that they weren't going to hurt me, that they weren't going to abandon me. I needed somebody to be with me. I needed somebody is like, call on me and come pray to me and I will listen. I needed somebody to listen to me, to hear me. I needed somebody just to not judge me. I just wanted somebody to hear me and listen without fear of abandonment. And also, you will find me if you seek me with everything I have. So as long as I just need to get more, right?
Yeah. You're just not looking hard enough. If you're not finding them, you're not looking hard enough. If things aren't good, you're not looking hard enough. You're not seeking them hard enough.
Oh, I think I may have just dropped those plans. Sorry, Jay.
What? Whoops.
But that's what this verse actually did. This verse gave me mentally everything that I was needing. So again, I'm having to literally undo it. I am now
Yeah.
having to undo everything that this verse did to me. And I did it to myself technically. And I gotta admit that. But this is one of those ones that it gave me it reassured me on everything that I was needing and I wasn't getting.
Yes.
So I gaslit myself.
Yeah, and in the environment you grew up in, this is kind of all you had. This is what you grabbed a hold of because you didn't have anything else to grab a hold of.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't, because your needs weren't being met, and so you needed to assure yourself that Well, God would do that for you because nobody else would.
Right.
But so you kept, yeah, and so that again, a lot of the things that we learned about about God and God validating all of our emotions and giving it over to God. We took all of that and translated that into people at some point. Where if we didn't learn to soothe ourselves, we didn't learn to and understand what we were going through, evaluate it, and work through it. We shifted that focus as we got older. We shifted that focus from, okay, God's going to do it, to now my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my significant other, my friends, someone else is going to do it. And that creates all kinds of other problems in your relationships, in our relationships. Yeah, that's a big one. To me, this is one of those God's got a plan verses. People summarize this verse into God's got a plan. You know, the plastic positivity. It's fine. God's got a plan. You know, everything happens for a reason. That's what this verse translates to me.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, I did some research on this verse. What is this? Where does this verse come from? What's the context behind this verse?
Yeah.
This verse was used as for when the Israelites were in exile. Why were they in exile? Because they had disobeyed God by building the golden calf. So they screwed up. God punished them. And they were like, how long are we going to have to be here? And this was written to them. This was told to them that as a way of, it's going to be, but it wasn't like this is going to be fixed in the near future. Like, this is going to be fixed in like 70 years. You're going to be better, but it's going to be like 70 years from now. It was because the Israelites screwed up and they were being punished for it. That's where this verse came from. Like, that is completely taken out of context.
God's really narcissistic, isn't he?
He is. Yes. Oh yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't know why that just dawned on me. Like you have no other gods before me. Dude, deal with your trauma. Like, right? Sky Daddy has some issues. Like,
Sky Daddy.
You are
Yeah,
not.
Sky
Like,
Daddy's
you
a
think
bit of
about
a-
the 10 Commandments. Like, you shall have no other God before me. It's like, you won't talk to anyone else except for me. And I'm like, okay.
Speaking of Sky Daddy and abusive relationships, do you want to talk about the Roman Road?
Yeah. Oh, you're trying to avoid getting me triggered beforehand. Okay, cool. Yes, let's talk about the Roman
You just
Road.
had a big one. You just
Okay.
had a big one, so I figured
that
we'd
wasn't
shift it a
even
little. All
the
right.
big one. That was like mild.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's cool. No, well, let's do the Roman Road.
All right. Roman Road. If you grew up in the Christian faith, you have heard about the Roman Road. The Roman Road is a series of verses in Romans that are used to lead someone to salvation.
And they
They're
teach
used
you
to
this
save
in
someone.
youth group. Like, they teach you in youth
Oh,
group. Like, this
yeah.
was the easy way to
Yeah.
be a missionary. Was they teach you the Roman
Yes.
Road so that you can just they constantly
High school.
yes.
High school is because high school is where you're when you're in high school and you're around all these other non-believers. This is your opportunity to really save your friends and the people that you're around in high school. That's where this one really started to get pushed. We are just friends. We're just friends. Us and the other deities, we're just friends. Okay, so the Roman Road is split into 3 parts: the human problem, humanity's hope in Christ, and the sinner's response. So you got verses like, none righteous, no, not one. There are none righteous, no, not one.
Oh,
Then
see,
you've got for all of
no, see,
yeah.
we always did Romans 3:23. That was always the first one. That was always ours.
Okay. I may not have this in a particular order within each category.
Okay. Well, we only had one verse per thing.
Okay, you did? All right.
Yeah.
So I think there's several verses that are similar. So Romans 3:23 is, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Translation: you're not good enough. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. You're just not good enough. You're not worthy enough. Yeah, if you've ever had those thoughts about yourself, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, this is probably what the verses there came from. We all fall short. God is this wonder. Remember, we often take what the things we attribute to God, we often end up attributing to other people.
Mhm.
So if we're not good enough for God, we're probably not good enough for our significant other.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a bad mindset. So we're bad.
Mhm.
That's our human problem. The second part is we have, but we have hope in Christ.
Oh my God, Jay! I need to. I don't. I don't.
Right,
I
Jay,
feel like I need
yes.
to pay you for
Um,
for. You are giving me everything I need right now.
I mean that is also another translation. Yes.
Sky Daddy says you ain't
Wait.
shit.
We need. You know how there are annotated Bibles, little comments that are in the margin. We need the J annotated Bible. It's Jay's little comments in the margins.
Sky Daddy says you ain't shit.
Oh my God, that is so good.
Okay, next one.
Oh, Jay, we love you.
Next one.
All right. So after we've torn you down by saying that you're not good enough, we're gonna build you back up.
I'm attending that church.
Yeah, Pastor Dwayne. Oh yeah. Okay. Can we have a?
It's Pastor Dwayne
Con?
of the Church of
Con?
Trauma and later day.
We need to be writing this down. I feel like this should be a segment at the con.
He's the pastor at the Church of Trauma and Later Day Saints.
I want to hear Pastor Dwayne preach. I really do. Yes. My God, Jay, we're gonna have to talk about this.
Okay, Roman roads. Helping you,
All
man.
right. So first we tear you down. First Sky Daddy tears you down. Then Sky Daddy starts building you back up. If you've ever been in an abusive relationship, this might sound familiar. You have whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. Also, for the wages of sin is death. This is kind of the connector between the human problem and the humanity's hope.
Well,
The
this
wages
was
of sin is death.
623 was the one we used.
Yeah,
So.
for the wages of, because it's a connector between those two categories. So the wages of sin is death. That's the whole you suck.
God is
But the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord. It's almost like the commercials where there's a really bad thing, but then there's a good thing. It's like you hear that really heavy music, and then it shifts into that really happy music. That's what this feels like.
But there's
You
hope.
suck.
Do you suffer from
there's hope.
rheumatoid arthritis? But
Right.
there's hope.
Yes. But may calls, symptoms include, or side effects include, oh my God, that's the Bible. Side effects of Christianity may include. Oh my God.
Oh shit. Oh,
Mm.
we got. Oh.
Oh God. Oh God.
Okay.
All right. So you suck, but there's hope. If you just because God gives you a gift. Now again, there's two types of gifts. There's one gift that is, hey, I got you something. Done. Full stop. There's also the whole, hey, I got you something. Subtext, what have you gotten for me? Or hey, I got you something. I'm gonna hold this over. I'm gonna lord this over you. I'm gonna hold this over your head. The stringy gifts, right? The gift of God feels kind of like a stringy gift.
Yeah.
All right, so the third part is, how do you respond? Church of Trauma and later day drinking. Yeah, there's always that. So you're nothing, but there's hope. How do you respond? If you confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus and believe in your heart that God has raised him from the dead, you will be saved. That's the third part. Romans 10, 9 and 10. Got to confess it. Sky Daddy, I've been bad.
Forgive me, Daddy, I've been bad.
Forgive me. Yeah, forgive me, Sky Daddy, I've been bad. And believe in your heart, God raised him from the dead, you'll be saved. There you go. That is how you save your fellow man. That was taught to us starting in high school, and then never stopped.
I'm pinning that message right there.
Yes. Thank you. Mm. Crusading against the blessed. Yes. Oh my God, Jay. That's it. Side effects.
What did you call? Did you say it? What did you call it at the beginning? Right before the stream, you called this what'd you call the Roman road? Like the something handbook?
Oh, yeah, the Roman road is the abuser's handbook. Because think about it. First of all, you tell someone, "Hey, you're nothing."
Mm-hmm.
You tear them down,
Right.
all right? Because someone that's got a good self-esteem, someone that feels confident in themselves, they're not going to put up with it. So the first thing you got to do is you got to tear them down. You're nothing. Then you give them hope, because whoever gives hope,
Mhm.
that's the person. That's where trauma bond comes from. The abuser provides some sort of hope. The abuser creates the problem and then gives you the solution to the problem that they created. They give you the hope.
Well, it's not even just that they give you the solution. Like they cause the trauma,
Mhm.
and the hope is like whatever it is that bonded you in the first place. So it might
Mhm.
not be the solution. It just be like your need to take care of them, your need
Oh, yeah.
to make sure that they're okay, so they
Mhm.
can't like so they cause the problem, but then they're like, but I can't do it without you, and you are like the whole like
Yeah.
savior complex, or like I
Yeah.
can't do it without you, and you're the best thing, because what would I do without you in my life? And I'm like, yeah, that's also part of the trauma bond. So either they give you the solution, or they tell you, like, they keep you hooked in because you feel needed and wanted, and you're taking care
Yeah.
of them. Yeah.
It is a cycle. It's an abuse cycle. The Roman road sounds very much like an abuse cycle.
Oh yeah. And then all you have to do is just do everything that they want.
Yeah. All you gotta
Everything.
do is just do this. You just gotta confess it. You just
You
gotta
just
say
got to
it.
forsake
So
everything in your life. You got to forsake everything in your life,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
you're going to get rewarded. That means like you're
Yes.
going to forsake, they don't give you, so they make you the solution. That
Yes.
Jay, that.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Yep.
That. I have opinions.
Mm-hmm.
If you find yourself the solution to their problems, then you
Mhm.
are also their problem. That is something I am having to learn. If you find that yourself being the solution to their problems, that is not love, and that is not good for you. It's not. And I wish I could say it makes you a good person, it makes you kind and giving and caring, but it doesn't. It doesn't.
Makes you enabling.
It makes you an enabler. And it means that they will never
Yeah.
get better. They will never figure it out for themselves because you were fixing the problem for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Being an enabler.
Oh, isn't it great?
Mm.
It's so wonderful. It's the
Fantastic.
best thing ever that I'm having to unlearn.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though, and that's what the church teaches you. The church teaches you, as long as you are the solution, and that's what this is like, you give everything of yourself, and so good things are going to happen. Yeah, like that's the good result.
Mhm.
So you convince yourself. Like, no, like sacrificing for somebody else is a good
Sacrificing
thing.
for this. Yes. Yeah. Because if you're not sacrificing, then what are
And
you
it
doing?
allows
You're
you to be
greedy.
manipulated, and it allows you, and
Yes.
it's one of those, they can hoover, like that's why hoovering is a thing when it comes to trauma bonds. Like, all of a sudden they have this problem, and you're the only one that can you're the only one
Yep.
you're the only one that can help. You're the only one that
Yep.
that we can turn to, because I've got no one else.
I've got no one else. Yep. I can't do this by myself. They appeal to that need to save other people that you learn that the church teaches you. The church teaches you that that you must save everyone.
Mm-hmm. That
It's
And-
your responsibility to save everyone, to save your friends, save your family,
Save the strangers.
and so
Yeah.
save the strangers. Yeah, absolutely. So you're the only person that stands between that person and
Just total ruin.
yes.
But
So
but
and going back to the
sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Going back to John 3:16, sacrifice. You're supposed to be like Christ or God or whatever. And so it's all about sacrifice. Well, if God was willing to sacrifice his son, I can sacrifice this. If I'm going to be like God, I've got to sacrifice. The bigger the sacrifice, the more God-like you are, the closer to God you are. So you start wearing sacrifice as a badge of honor. I say that because I've done that. And yeah, so so sacrifice becomes your identity, and you feel like the more you sacrifice, the more pious you are.
Or just the better person, even if you're out of the church, the better
Yes, or the
person
better
you are.
person you are.
And what you don't realize, what a lot of people who what you don't realize is how ingrained mentally that is into your psyche. Even if you're not doing it as a religious aspect, you end up doing it because that is just what is. Like, and I know there's a lot of things but I know that was one of the things is that gave me fulfillment. And being really honest, it gave me fulfillment and validation as a person because it kept me in these cycles of relationships, friendships, romantic relationships. It kept me in that cycle because it kept telling me they couldn't do it without me. And I kept thinking, well, that must mean that we have this special bond. Yeah, it's called a trauma bond. It's called I'm over here trying to and what I realized is they can do it themselves. They can figure it out. And that there is a difference between support and enabling.
Yes.
And I sat there for a long time, and I'm still to this day fighting that. Like, what's the difference between support and enabling? When they can figure it out, and they should figure it out because they have to struggle. And that's the other thing is for me, I have to understand what are my triggers. I have to really understand what that is. You have to struggle a little bit so that you can learn to not struggle. But if I'm over here keeping them from struggling, I am literally picking up the slack of somebody else because they can't or won't or whatever. And I'm always fixing their problems. They're not going to get better. And then I wonder why I'm miserable because I'm over here and I'm sacrificing and I'm doing the thing. And at first it feels really great. And then all of a sudden it doesn't feel so great because and I give more because, at first when I was giving and I was taking and that's this whole Roman road thing.
Yeah. And then it becomes too much. And then you're giving everything but you don't feel like you can get out.
Yeah.
You end up feeling trapped.
Right.
Yeah. It's a very ugly cycle.
Here's the big one. And here's how to know you're in a trauma bond that I figured it out. Take something that they expect you to do. And it doesn't even have to be big. It doesn't have to be major. And go, no, I think I can't do that. I can't right now. You're going to have to figure that out for yourself and see their reaction.
Oh, yeah.
And see if the words, you don't care about me. You obviously don't want to have anything to do with me.
Is the response proportional to what you said? In an abusive or in an unhealthy relationship, it won't be. The response will far exceed what you, and that's why you said if you do something small, it's easy to see the response is disproportionate.
Mhm. And then you're like, oh. And then, yeah, but yeah, the Roman road.
That's a
all
It's a
the
nasty
things
one.
that all the things that destroyed us when we were kids and how, well, you know, adults and whatever.
yeah. All right, you ready?
Yeah, you read it. 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 I can't
Which one are we doing?
do the big one.
Big one? Oh,
Mhm.
I gotta scroll. Wait, I'm in the wrong spot.
It's in bold.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, gotcha. All right, that's what Proverbs 3:5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Don't rely or lean not on your own understanding. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. You are triggered. This one is hard, doesn't it? Just give it to God.
Dad.
You're not. You can't do anything yourself. You gotta give it to God.
Okay, so the explanation that it was sort of paraphrasing the verse, like where I found this.
Mhm.
Good news. The good news that comes with this verse, even if you're doubting something in your life right now, trust that the Lord sees the greater picture and will bring to you what comes next. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on this is like I literally know it. Trust in the Lord
That's
with
how
all
I
your
learned
heart.
it.
Lean not on your own understanding.
That's also that this one is also used when you start to question things in the Bible. When you start to question the lessons that you're taught, don't rely on your own understanding because you don't understand the ways of God. The ways of God are greater than the ways of man. That's another one. Um, so you're taught you're not smart enough to figure this stuff out and to have your own opinion that contradicts what you're being taught. So you just got to trust that you know you're not smarter than God. You just got to trust God, which also translates to trust the church leadership. That's really what they're saying. Is they're not saying just trust God. They're saying you need to trust the people that are in charge. You need to trust us because we know what we're doing.
This is why it triggers me so much.
Hmm.
This is the one that got thrown at me every single time I would be in a bad place. Every time. Every time I'd ask for help. Every time I would ask for need. Every time. This is why I feel like a burden. This is why I feel rejected. This is why when I am in a bad and emotional and mental place, when I go through an episode, every single time, because I wasn't faithful enough. And I must not be like lean not on your own understanding. You obviously don't know what's going on and the devil has you. Just trust in the Lord. It'll be fine. And I wasn't fine. Which then propelled me into Jeremiah 21. Like it's fine. It's okay. Well, maybe I don't understand and maybe I don't. This one. I am not faithful enough. No, I need help. I know I am not okay. I know I'm not okay. And I'm trying to tell you I'm not okay. And this is a lot of where, like, a lot of my abandonment trauma came from because it was like, I just wasn't faithful enough. I just have to trust the Lord. I don't know how many times I got pushed away and rejected and told I just have to have faith. And I can't understand what's going on inside of me, but the Lord will. What I really needed was I needed to be listened to. I needed somebody to be there. and to tell me my emotions and my thoughts and what I was going through was valid. And that I wasn't just going to get tossed aside. And that is where a lot of what I'm having to go through right now comes from. Because it wasn't just the church. It was because my whole entire world was people of the church. So whenever, no matter what I did, whether it be a parent or it would be a youth leader or it'd even be a friend or boyfriend, and I'm sitting here going, I'm not okay. I am not okay. Just don't worry about it. Don't worry about how you're feeling and what you're thinking. Don't just trust God.
Don't get help. Just trust God.
Don't try to figure out what's going on. Don't try to sit there just this is the verse that they used to put that wall up. This is the verse that they use is just like, so there you go. This is why this verse fucking sucks, because people use it as a reason to not help.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And to tell you that it is all your fault and you don't believe.
Makes you question your own judgment, question your reality. Because if you're not okay, then you're just not trusting God enough, which makes you feel worse about yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. These verses may have been told to us, lessons taught to us, but there was always a reverse side that we learned,
Mm-hmm.
whether we wanted to or not. There's always a flip side to these things.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Okay. I'm fine.
Yeah, it's a painful one.
Yeah. I'm good. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not breaking down, so it's fine. It's a scapegoat tactic. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yay, trauma!
right.
Yay, trauma!
Yeah. Right.
Uh,
What's next? Which one do you want to hit next?
you pick. I'm gonna need a minute, so you can pick. Dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice. All right.
Yes.
Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Or whatever translation you have. I can endure all things through the power of the one who gives me strength. What's funny about this one is used as a rallying cry. And this is the motivational verse for everyone. This is plastered, the posters that use Philippians 4:13. It's even used in like weightlifting or exercise. It's even used in the exercise industry. Because it's the whole strengthens me, right? They go with the literal strengthen. It's like you can do everything. You can do anything. God gives you the strength. But again, what is the flip side of this? You can't do anything
Without God.
You are nothing without
Trauma
God.
bonding me to motherfucking Sky Daddy.
Yeah. Right? This is just more of the same.
I know. There seems to be a theme here.
Right? Sky Daddy is everything. Again, it's just like the abuser's handbook right here. And you wonder why so many people that grew up in the church are in bad relationships, that are in abusive relationships, because that's what you learn it from. Because Sky Daddy equals house daddy.
I think that's the that's the hardest lesson I'm having to face and I mean, not the hardest. I would have to, there's a lot harder, but that's one of the hard lessons I'm having to learn is what is a trauma bond? Do is like what am I? Who am I trauma bonded to, and who is an actual like good person? You know what I mean? Like I've had to, and that's hard. That's hard when this is what you know. It is literally in your nature. It is in it
Mhm.
is your natural thought pattern is to be bonded with the person that is
Mhm.
like that sucks. Because
Yeah.
then you're having to
It
go. You're just having to go. It's like leaving the church all over again. It really is.
Yeah.
You like your entire life, like you made your life about them and that person and who they were, and now it's like, did why?
Mhm.
Like I why? Oh, because I my fear of abandonment and I feel like I am nothing without somebody else. And
Mhm.
I feel worthless because it was told to me I was, all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, and we're all worthless and we're not okay. And we have and the only way that we can find safety and security and satisfaction is through
Mhm.
God, which means we then, like you said, translate that onto other people, which then encourages which encourages a lot of
Codependency and
codependency and mental health
Mhm.
disorders, and it
Yep.
encourages all of these things and it reinforces all of that, and
Mhm.
it makes it, and not only does it reinforce all of these things to not maybe to cause the trauma, but also reinforce the trauma
Yes.
and make the trauma a bigger thing. But it also wraps it in this pretty package. So on
Mhm.
top of that, like all of these things, yeah, on if you look at it on the surface,
Mhm.
they all are good, and they all like these are all encouraging, right? They're all incredibly encouraging. Like I can endure all things, which means you can survive. It will be fine. It will be good.
Mhm.
Like if, I know that, like, all you have to do is somebody will be, the Lord is always there to listen. Like, so if
Yeah.
you're feeling unheard or all these things, somebody's there.
Mhm. It's always looking to to that external source. Always depending upon that external source for everything.
Hmm.
And so that's how you live your life. It's not because it, like you said, it's not. It's whatever whatever you look to God, you transfer to your significant other, and so that's you end up living your life like that.
Right. And
So
then,
it's not an interdependence; it's
right,
a codependence.
right. And then when you're faced with like something healthy, like a healthy friendship or a healthy relationship or whatever,
Hmm.
it feels wrong. And then you
Yes.
start sitting there going, well, they don't need me. Like, what? Like that whole, so do they not think I'm good enough? Like if they don't need
Hmm.
me, if they don't need me, then they just obviously I'm not good enough.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Hmm. If they don't need you to fix them, then
Right.
you start to feel like you're lacking
Yes.
because that has been that's how you've been validated as a person is
Right.
by fixing stuff.
Yeah.
So when someone doesn't need you to fix them, you don't feel validated anymore.
Right.
And you never learned how to handle that yourself.
Mhm.
You never learned how to be your own strength or see your own strength and see your validation see your own validation as a person. You've always been waiting for someone else to validate you. Yeah, these are the nasty side effects.
So, yeah, and
This is another
honest,
verse that's also taken very much out of context.
which one? Oh, this one?
Philippians 4:13.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can endure all these things. If you read the verse before it, it talks about being content in every situation, whether you're hungry or full. Um, and in most translations, it says, I can endure this. This referring to being content in all situations. The New American Standard changed "I can endure this" to "I can endure all things." And that's the verse, that's the translation that people latch onto because it's self-containing. I can endure all things. But that's not what this verse was talking about. It was talking about the previous verse. So again, this whole rallying cry, I can do all things through the power of Christ, is really not what was being said at all. But it furthers a message. That's what most of these verses come down to, is they further a narrative that someone has created. And it's a dangerous narrative.
Okay. Well, and okay, so I'm gonna be honest because, well, that's we're trying to be honest so that we can help
Mhm.
people. So I am working through some things, and I'm having to unpack things, as some of you know, most of you know. I'm having to unpack things, and I thought I honestly, when I came up with this topic, and I came up with it months ago, I thought it was going to be fun and cheeky. And, thanks, Jay, for keeping it fun and cheeky. I really appreciate that. Actually, you that's amazing. And thank you.
Gold
I
star.
appreciate that. Gold star.
Mhm.
Because when during this entire episode and going through this and then unpacking what these verses did to us and the messages that they reinforced, all of a sudden things make a lot of sense. Things make a lot of sense about why what I'm dealing with and what I'm having to unpack and what I'm having to heal and learn to unlearn is wrapped up in the things that got hammered home in the church and at home. And it's like, it's comforting. It's comforting and also very disturbing all at the same time. Because I'm looking at this and I'm looking at that, and it's ticking off boxes of okay, well, why do I feel like this? Well, this is what got reinforced. Why do I feel like this? Well, this has got reinforced. Why am I codependent? Why am I trauma bonded to people? This is what got reinforced. And you have to understand, my parents were not active in my life parents. Most of the time, I was at church. If I was not at school, I was at church. So basically, the church raised me, and I got fed at home, and I slept at home. So it makes it's crazy when you start unpacking all of that, and just, why do I feel like this? This is what got reinforced to me. Why am I making choices like this? Because this right. Why am I suffering like this? Well, I have 10 verses to tell you why you're feeling that way. So this was a lot of fun and also very cathartic, as well as triggering. It's so much fun.
Yay! Welcome to Waking Up.
Welcome to Wake Up. But
What we do.
yes, it is what we do. But yeah, that's I was not expecting that. I was not honestly, I was not expecting for it to start clicking in this. And at least it's one step forward. Yeah, I get, I mean, it's a baby step, but the baby steps are still steps forward. So that's good, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Small steps are still steps.
Okay, talk, Sean, because
Yeah.
I don't want to talk anymore.
Well, I'm thinking about, like, the thing that I'm working, that I've realized I need to work on. I can't say that I'm working on it because I really haven't yet. Is self-worth, liking myself, feeling like I'm good enough. And I'm reading through these verses going, no wonder I felt this way. And remember, I stayed in the church longer, so these things kind of got hammered home a bit more.
Mhm.
Especially because I was involved in some missionary stuff, missionary work. Not that missionary.
No,
Okay.
what? What,
was
Sean? You were
I was
involved in going there and trying to save people?
save people. Yes, save people. So so when you're involved in those things, a lot of these verses, like the Roman road, get hammered in more. So I'm looking at this, going, no wonder I felt worthless, because I was taught to felt worthless. Because now that I've extracted myself from that, I'm deconstructing. Is I can't. I'm not looking at God as my worth comes from God. So now that external source has been removed,
Mm-hmm.
now where does it come from? And it's learning to value myself, and that's a lot harder than people might think it is, to find value in yourself outside of anything else.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank God for therapy, group, and DBT. Yay!
Yeah. Great.
Okay, and I want everybody to know. Okay, when you're healing, and we have said this over and over, and I've said it about everything. I healing is hard, and healing motherfucking sucks. It does. It's so fucking hard. It's hard. And when you start unpacking and you start, like, I don't know if anybody else has felt this. Sean, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I don't know if anybody in our community has felt this way, but like when you get answers, like when you start actually stop dealing with the symptoms, like, or you're dealing with them and you actually get answers to the why. You start getting answers, like there maybe a diagnosis, or maybe like you finally get down to the root of why. There's a sense of relief, sort of in going through this. This is a sense of like relief. It's like, oh, because in the exercises that I'm doing, I'm having to evaluate where my abandonment issues come from, where my self-worth issues come from the exercise, the skills I'm having to learn. I'm having to really try to find why, and I'm really having to evaluate, okay, what is it that causes me, and how do I react, and all of this stuff. And so I kept going, but my parents weren't present in my life. I know where some of my abandonment issues come from, and I know where some of my self-worth issues come from. I can name, but it doesn't, like, I felt like something was missing. I felt like I was missing something. I felt like when looking at why, when evaluating these things and trying to write these down, I'm like, something isn't right. And actually going through these, it just went ring, and it's like, oh, okay. And now I can like sit here and now I can think of all the time, like I can actually start putting puzzle pieces together. It's relieving. It's very freeing. And then at the same time, it's very much like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Because it all was good. Like I wanted it to be good. Everything was like, I thought it was good, but it wasn't good.
The way we see these verses, we see these experiences in a different light now. We were taught this shiny positive thing, and now we're looking at it, realizing that's where some of our trauma came from. That's where a good bit of our trauma came from, is because whether we were conscious of the flip side of these verses or not, we still adopted them. They were still stuck in our psyche.
The subliminal messaging that comes along with this.
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah.
And
the indoctrination and subliminal messaging.
Yes, and that in turn teaches us how to see the red flags, see the toxic behaviors, see even in yourself, see those things. You can they could be right in front of you, and you know that they exist. And yet you can only acknowledge what's good about them, what's good about that person, what's good about this situation. You literally gaslight yourself, and you literally can
Yeah.
sit there and go, that's not what it really is. Like I see that. I know that I see that. I know that that is a reality. I know that that is a thing. But is it really? Is it really how I'm seeing it? Is it
The-
really like,
The ability to justify anything.
and then take on things, like, because this is hammered home that you are nothing without God, that you are
Mhm.
nothing unless you're giving everything to somebody else. So that other person is like that feeling of, I don't like, you were beautifully and wonderfully made.
Mm-hmm.
You were beautifully and wonderfully made. God knew you before you were born.
Oh, that's one that we didn't put on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were
He knows the number of hairs on your head.
made to serve.
Yes.
You were made to serve. Which is
Mhm.
also what kept me in very trauma bonded and toxic relationships, because I am sitting there going, I was made like to give. I have to give everything to somebody else, and I am bad because I was made to be a giver. But I mean,
Yeah, you were.
I am a sub, but that's beside the point. I mean, but you know what I mean? Like, I was made to serve somebody else. And when I get to
Mhm.
that whole that, because when I start setting boundaries, or I start saying no, or I start being like, trying to be supportive, not codependent. When I start being supportive, not enabling. And I go, I am here for you. I'm support you, but you need to start figuring things out for yourself. And then they throw the whole, but I can't do it without you, or like, where do I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to figure this out. I need you. I want you. Like, and then you, because you are trained to be of service to others, you then feel guilty. You feel bad. You're like, I am then you internalize that. I'm the bad person. I'm the bad person because I'm actually making them deal with their own stuff. I'm the bad person because I'm setting a boundary. I'm the bad person because
don't care.
they're suffering because of me.
Yes.
No, they are suffering because of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very hard thing. That is something I still struggle with all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
They are, and I'm having to take on myself. I am not suffering because of somebody else, because what I am dealing with is again, I had spent my life seeking outside validation, which then in turn does a lot of traumatic things. And so because I was seeking outside validation, I'm over there, I'm the bad person. And I realized, and then because of that, like, I always thought somebody else was the bad person because they weren't giving me what I needed. They weren't giving me what I wanted. They were not validating me. They were not enabling me. And so then I flipped it in my head and I went, they're the bad person because they're not serving me.
Yeah. Because you're doing this and they're not doing this. They're not reciprocating, or you're not getting that yourself. You end up doing the same thing. Yeah. Yeah, the debuff. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
We now have a perception debuff. Yeah. Minus 20 to perception.
Yeah, but see, that's I think that's the thing. And that's where it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard because when you're trauma bonded to somebody, you fervently believe. And I talked about this one time when I was talking about codependency. you fervent believe that this time's going to be different.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to give. And I know that, the past 10 years or the past 5 years or the past whatever years, I know that they've all looked the same. I know that they've all looked the same.
Mhm.
And I set my boundary and I didn't. I was feeling good, but then, they came back into my life for whatever reason, or maybe they never left. And then all of a sudden you find yourself getting stuck back in that cycle. And it's subtle at first.
Mhm. And it appeals to it appeals to the trauma that you have. It appeals to your need to be validated, to feel like a good person. That's my the mhm.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I'm coming to learn that is one of my deep rooted traumas. Proving that being a good person. Now, and I'm looking at all this stuff going, everything that I was raised in told me that I wasn't a good person, and I wasn't valid, I wasn't worthy. And I'm realizing I brought that to pretty much all of my relationships. This idea that I have to do more, I have to sacrifice more, give more, that I'm not good enough in the relationship, that I'm not by myself, that I'm not valid.
I have one of those, well, first off, seeking validity through other people and
Hmm.
all of that. And that's always fine. But
Yeah.
I had that whole, because I was also in mission work. And I was very much that. I was very a fervent, like, save people. I want to bring people to Christ. I want to, like, I'm like the Roman road. I was like, I was that person. Like, I
Mhm.
wanted to rescue them. I wanted to save them. I can make their lives better. I can make their lives better. And I realized that, now I realize that's the whole different issue. But then that's what I mean by, like, being trauma bonded and getting caught up in the cycle, is because then unless I am saying no and I stick to that, I'm like, no, okay. I mean, we have to forgive, right? We have to forgive. We have to see the good in
Right.
people. And we can forgive and see the good in people and still have boundaries
Hmm.
and say, no, I'm not gonna, but it's always subtle at first. It's just one little thing, one time.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then you did it that one time and you're like, well, it wasn't that bad. Like, it doesn't really inconvenience me. It's whatever. And they need the help. It's fine. They need the help. And
Yeah.
the only people they can turn to is me. And
The
then,
rationalization.
yeah. And then it becomes, they start relying on you for everything. And that feeds
Yeah.
until that validation. I get validated.
Hmm.
But then then all of a sudden I wake up one day and I'm like, how the fuck did I end up back here? Why am I
Mhm.
like, what? Then all of a sudden they have taken up my entire world again. And that's bullshit.
Yep.
And then it starts down another toxic cycle. And all thanks to the church. Like, yay. Like,
Yay! Thanks.
great.
Mm.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's great. It's great.
Right. Again, thank God for therapy group and DBT.
Mm.
Gonna make it through. There is an instruction
Uh-huh.
manual. We can get through this.
Oh my God. Yes. All
All
right.
You want to end it?
Do I want to end it?
You want to close this out?
I'm trying to think of how you mean to give the benediction? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Finish this off. Finish this off, Pep Pep.
Finish us off. Oh God. All right.
That's what I hope so.
I don't even. I'm not even sure how to finish this off. Aside from ringing the bell.
Okay, well,
Ah,
stay tuned. 76 Sundays at
Yeah.
6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. We're fucking around the wasteland and I'm finding out. So, and then tonight at BSBN Gaming, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. And then Zarknor After Dark. That's at 10 p.m. on Nev's channel. And all the things. Yay!
yay Sunday.
Woo! All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Jay. Thank you so much for all of your comments, and Calvino.
Yes.
You're awesome.
Thank-
Thank you for everyone that showed up, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
Three, two,